there's a disconnect between what everybody provides in the community. Whereas back in our day, everybody appreciated each other for who we were. We knew you were the guy, you did the post office, you did this, you had that, you owned this restaurant, everybody knew each other. Whereas now, nobody really knows each other.
There's a big disconnect between the haves and the have-nots.
Yes.
So much more so than a big part of this country.
Right.
You know, growing up in Aspen, which this whole podcast is based upon, when my family moved here in 1960, the only paved street was Main Street.
Yeah.
There were like 1,200 people that lived here.
Yeah.
When I graduated from high school in 1971, there was 32 kids in my class.
Well, and you were in the old building. You weren't even in the new building, right? Weren't you the down in the yellow brick?
No, I graduated from the Round High School.
The Hubs. Okay.
Before that got all built up.
Okay.
But I remember, Aspen was so great back in the day because it was just an old mining town trying to be a great ski area.
Yeah.
Sure, they brought in the 1950 FIS, the World Championships, which basically put Aspen on the map of international racing. But back in the day, in 1950, my God, skiing as a whole was just a microcosm of what it became. The World Championships and the Olympics in 1956, oh my God, just look at the footage. It's like everybody was just learning how to ski, but they were winning medals compared to where we are. Everything obviously changes. But back in the day, that's what I miss so much. I miss innocence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to live on my bicycle. So I would have a fly rod and a baseball mitt and 3 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
I don't know a kid in Aspen that didn't.
I know. I'd go to the river, I'd fish in the morning, I'd go to baseball practice, and I'd go back to the river and come home and eat leftovers.
Were the Armstrongs still doing baseball?
Ted Armstrong was my baseball coach, my ski coach. But it was just a group of kids that grew up together. And like you said, the mom and pops, ran all the shops in town.
Yeah.
Now town is filled with Gucci and Prada and all this stuff that is basically in New York that has been transplanted into this little ski town.
Yeah.
So it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, but progress is what it is. And you can't say, no, we're not gonna like grow. It's inevitable. Of course it's going to grow. Of course all these people are going to come here. Everybody wants to be here in Aspen. The problem, they're pushing the locals out.
Well, also, if I go back to my time, it might have been even earlier because, even in your time, Lucille Ball, and there were all kinds of people that would come into town. But in my day, and I think your day, a lot of those people, they wanted to blend in with the locals. That made their day if they just hung out and saw someone at the Jerome Bar and spent a couple hours with someone that was, ran the local rodeo. You know what I mean? Because it's very different than talking Hollywood shop with the Hollywood people. And I felt like Aspen was an escape, a relaxed place to get away from all that stuff. Whereas it feels like now they brought their business there. The business deals are there. They bought these big homes underneath their corporate, business, and now those are where they have their big meetings and their big, corporate stuff, which is very different than it used to be. It used to be an escape, not bring my business here. You know what I mean? Again, you got snowed in. There were times where you got snowed in. Now they're making the airport so it's going to get less and less like that. If you didn't get Aspen Airways or Rocky Mountain, you had a 4-hour drive because there weren't 4 lanes on, the curves.
It would take 7 hours to drive to Denver.
Yeah.
There's a 2-lane road to Glenwood, a 2-lane road over Loveland Pass.
Yeah, exactly.
There was no tunnel back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like it's funny because that effort earned you the space, the time, the Aspen, the experience. Whereas now it's like people just fly in from anywhere, come in, do their thing and fly off. there's not that effort, that connection to it. In other words, it's almost like you earn it and you can enjoy it more.
Look, I can't hold progress against the people who really want to enjoy this town.
Yeah.
I feel bad that a lot of these big homes are for, two people. They're building 10,000 square foot houses and 2 people live in them.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
But I mean, I live in a 7,000 square foot house, but at one time there were 6 of us that lived here.
Right.
And I like living alone.
Yeah.
And I had my house on the market last year. I mean, I look out over 4 ski areas. My house here is probably at almost 9,000 feet. And I had it on the market last year. And I was thinking, well, maybe I'll downsize, take a lot of money out of it, reinvest that. And after about a week, I thought, where am I going to go?
Right.
I'm going to move down valley at the valley floor. My view's not going to be what I've had here for the last 40 years. It's like, my God, let's get a grip here, man.
Yeah.
So it's not about putting money in the bank. It's about living large, living fully, and appreciating the opportunity of where I live and what I love about this town.
Yeah.
I can go to the river, even though it's crowded. Let's go back here. You know what? Unfortunately, a lot of people died during the COVID years.
Right.
I feel badly about that. But the best part, if there was a good part, we had a chance to go back 60 years in time.
Yeah.
I wrote an article called The COVID Time Machine. There was not one airplane at the airport.
Wow.
82 was basically empty. I flew here the day they shut down the ski area. We went through Houston, my girlfriend and I. There were 3 people on the plane. Houston airport had nobody in it.
Wow.
It was like Armageddon. You could have taken a machine gun and just went in 360 degrees and not hit anybody because there was nobody there.
Right.
And what happened was I had a chance to show my son, because I grew up, fly fishing here in Aspen was as much part of my DNA as skiing was. So I had a chance to show my son the Roaring Fork River like I saw it in 1960. There was nobody on the river.
Yeah.
And then we went into the Keys, the Florida Keys, because now I'm a saltwater fly fisherman. My whole life is fishing over the last 40 years. I left skiing 40 years ago. We got to the Florida Keys. I didn't see a boat on the ocean for 3 weeks.
Wow.
The fish were so high and happy. These 100-pound tarpon would come flying, rolling down the beach.
Yeah.
Nobody bothering them.
Yeah.
If you take a look at the Earth in China, the most polluted, place on the planet, it cleaned up. The Earth had a chance to recover.
I know India, you could see India, you could actually see from cities, you could see all the stuff, whereas before you couldn't see everything,
Yeah, because, it gave me, I was here, my son was here, and he's a big fly fisherman. So I had a chance to show him what I grew up with in this great town. So look, the problem is it's inundated with a lot of people, but I can still go find my little nooks up on the mountain and ski these little slots and here and there and pick where I want to ski. I can go to the river, hike a half an hour away from all the people and still have great fishing.
Yeah.
So it's still a great place. Yep. Just don't tell anybody it's still great. Don't let anybody know it's still off the chart,
Well, and here's my philosophy, and I think it's a little bit like Low Simple says, is that it's always going to be better than anywhere else. In other words, it doesn't matter whether it's the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever. LA and New York and Dallas, Aspen will always be better than it is in those places at that time.
Sure.
because it is an escape. It is a place to get away. It's just a little sad to watch, a New York gallery take over a little local artist gallery. It is a little, You know, it's tough to watch Chuck Fothergill's be taken over, plastered over by Boogie's. You know, it's great. Boogie's parents, family, I know those kids, but at the same time, that was sort of the face of the change, was turning Chuck Fothergill's place into Boogie's. You know.
Yeah, and Boogie's became a real staple for a long time. Boogie is,
now they're the old ones. Yeah.
Oh my God, Boogie is an amazing man. I mean, he creates the buddy program, and they raise all this money for the young kids and a variety of programs here in Aspen. And now that whole building is now an art gallery on the bottom.
Wow.
You know, oh God, it's that's it, you know what it is. It's like, remember the bar scene in Star Wars?
Yeah.
Where you walk through everybody's got different heads on each other, and they got fucking horns growing out of their foreheads.
Yeah.
That's what Aspen's like right now to me.
It feels like that's such a Hunter Thompson image, you know?
Oh my God. No question. But I'll never not live here.
Yeah.